Let's start with chef and trump cards. Chef is playing cards with his friend. Rules are there are two piles. Okay, one pile may be empty. Okay. Each card has some positive value. Whenever it becomes non-positive, it is removed. Okay. Each player simultaneously draws one card from the top of his pile. One player's pile is empty. Player cannot draw and therefore loses. Okay. So like someone will lose when the pile size becomes zero, and it would be impossible for both the piles to be empty. Okay. If the value of drawn cards are equal, each player simply places the cards he drew to the bottom. So like there are two piles. Let's say they both pick the top one, right? Yeah, from the top of pile. So if both are same, they just put it at the bottom. That's it. Otherwise, the player who has the higher value wins this round. Then he places the winning card, let's say this one, to the bottom of the pile, and the card from the opponent is transferred to him, and he places at the bottom of the pile, below the card he just drew. So the winning card and then the losing card. Whenever a card is transferred from one player to another, the losing card's value decreases by one. Okay, so winning card's value does not decrease at all; it remains same. When there are no transfers of cards between the players during 10 raised to power 100. So generally, for problem statements, you can assume like this is good enough as infinity. Consecutive rounds, each player calculates the sum. The only reason like they have not put an infinity is because like they want to do some step after that, and just so that like it's not infeasible, just to make it practically possible, they just pick such a huge number. That's it. After that, each player calculates the sum of the values of the cards that are currently in his pile. If one, sorry, if one player has a higher num sum, this player wins. Okay. So basically, sum of all the cards in the pile at the end, like if let's say nothing else. So let's say for example, maybe both piles have just let's say value equal to 2. That's it. So every time it will be a draw, and the game keeps on going on like up till infinity. So at the end of the time, it's just like whoever has the higher sum wins. Okay. You are given n cards and value of each. The task is to distribute between players and start the game. Assign each card to one of the players. It is not necessary. Okay. So if the game starts, uh, they cannot rearrange the piles. They will start with anything. Okay. So we have to find the number of distributions such that it becomes impossible for the game to end in draw, regardless of how the players form their starting piles. So maybe we can assume that like the players want to make it draw, and then we have if there is a possibility of an arrangement. So for example, let's say we have uh, three six cards in total, 1 2 3 and 1 2 3. So 1 2 3 in this pile and 1 2 3 in this pile. Because player wants to draw, they will arrange, let's say first one, then two, then three. Similarly, one, two, and three. We have to distribute in such a way that draw is never possible. Okay. Two distribution cards are different. Interesting. So there's t and this. You have to output a single number. So n is 10 to the 5. We will expect and like n does sum of n does not exceed 10 to the 6. So something like maybe linear solution. Hmm. Okay, let's take the example input. So there are two test cases. First is two, just two and two. So in the piles, like there are just like two cards in total. Both have two values. How can you arrange? So either I can give it to first person or second person. If I give like one to each, then it will be a draw. So either I will give both to one or the other. So answer is two. Makes sense. For this, two to four, five. Okay. So irrespective of how I distribute, the one with the highest value, the one with card having highest value will always win. Because ultimately what would happen is, let's say, for example, even if case had been 1, 2, 2, and 3, let us take this case. For example, let's take the case that n equal to, let's say, 6, 1, 2, 2, 3, let's say 5, and then 6. So whoever has the card with value 6, they will win for sure. Reason being, like, so 6 matches with, let's say, 5. Uh, uh, Reason being, like, so whenever this 6 comes up at the top of the pile, it will definitely defeat the other card and the value will decrease by 1. So even like if it happens that, let's say for example, it is like 6 and the other player has a pile, let's say maybe 2, 2, 3, 5, and then 1. Uh, the left side is the top. So 6 versus 2, 6 wins, value gets decreased. So now this pile becomes 6, which will be put at the bottom. It is nothing, so just 6. And value decreases, so it becomes 1. And the pile becomes 3, 3, 5, 1. Now 6 matches with 3, so it becomes like 6. Sorry. And 6 goes to the bottom, so it becomes 1. 6 and 3 minus 1, 2, and this pile becomes 4, 5, 1. Now 1 actually loses from 4 and 1 will go over here, so it becomes like 6, 2, then 5, 1, 4, and 0. We won't really count that. But again, like 6 came and the value of this get reduced. So so what I'm trying to say is like value of 6 will never decrease. The value of the highest card will never decrease. And it will make sure that like other card keeps on decreasing and ultimately the one who, and again, the 6, the card with value 6 will never even transferred at all because it will always win, and hence this person will win. Interesting thing, if let's say there is one more card like with value 6, so if like as in both players has 6, like the maximum value on both sides, then what would happen? Then it definitely will be a draw because this card will never lose. So it will either be a draw when it comes with matches 6 or a win. So this player, the left player, will never lose the card with the maximum value. Similarly, this player never loses the card with maximum value. Okay, so it's like in the array, let's say there are some cards with the maximum value m. Some m is the maximum value between like for the entire array, and there are some other values. I don't really care what the values are, whatever. Then, uh, in order to avoid draw, we have to make sure that all these m's are given to just one person. If we distribute them, then it will always end in a draw. Okay, then it will always end in a draw. So if we don't distribute it, then like will it always end no matter what? So I'm thinking of like trying to generate a use case where like all the maximum values are given to some person and it does not end in a draw. Sorry, still it ends in a draw. Let's say like this person has M. So if all these values, the value with another person is less than M, then all these cards will get defeated and keep on transferring. So yeah, I think this should be the answer. That like uh, for the card with the maximum value, you have to give of them to just one person, and for others you can distribute to any. So this has two possibilities: either yes, chef and trump, yeah, either chef and trump. Sorry, chef. So this has two possibilities. You can give this card to anyone. Similarly for this. Now for this, number six, there is just one card. So like again, there will be two possibilities. Had it been there one more six, like any number of times, then we would have clubbed them together into a single entity and tried to give them to just one person. So answer becomes 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, that is 16. Okay, let's try implementing this. So n is at least 1 and value is up till 10 raised to 9. So let's say this is the maximum element which I have found up till now. So if x is greater than max element, then max element equal to x and max count equal to 1. Else if x equal to max element, that means I have already found some and count is in max count. So I simply do max count plus plus. So after this iteration, I have like max count. Uh, so max count refers to number of elements which has uh, the maximum value in the entire array. Um, so now what I have to do is for this, like out of the n elements, for the max count elements, I will simply just have two possibilities. Either I give them to chef or chefu, and for others, like it's each and every single element will have two options. Either go to chef or chefu. So it's as simple as n minus. So final answer would be something like 2 raised to power n minus max count plus 1. This should be it. Plus 1 because like we are treating this as a single entity. So minus count plus this. So with I comma 0 comma so L answer equal to 1. So answer multiply by 2. So I can use power mode and all, but should not really be an issue with a linear solution. So I'm just going ahead and using the normal thing. So and if answer is greater or equal to num, instead of mode, because mode is a little slow, I'm just using addition because I'm multiplying by 2. So with just one subtraction, it should be fine. So 2 1e9 plus 7. Just I'm like tracing num to make sure there's not an issue with this. And that's it. So let's try out a test case and maybe few of our own. So let's say this is 3 and then 5, 1, 2, 2, 3, then 6, 6, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I expect answer is 2, 4, 8, 16. and then uh, 32, right? 1, 2, 3, yeah, 32 for the last one. So this is my template where like I will take the input from over here and print the output over here. Okay, sorry. Uh, See out answer. 21632. This looks good. Let's try submitting this. Interesting. It's a wrong answer. Let's see, did I miss something? So if a card is transferred from one player to another, only then the value decreases by one. So if it's a draw, they'll just put it at the bottom and you're done. Oh, okay, 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 okay. So what I did miss out was this particular condition. So what this is suggesting is when there are no transfer of cards between the player during 10 to the power 100 consecutive rounds, each player calculates the sum of the cards. If one player has a higher sum, the player wins. Otherwise, the game ends draw. So, for example, like if the distribution is like, let's say six is the highest valued card, so it's like six, six. So one person has three six and another person has just one six. Then also the game will end with the first person winning. Reason being, the sum will actually be greater. Okay. So what I have to make sure is, let's say this max count, I have to make sure that this max count is not exactly equal. Sorry, not exactly equally distributed amongst the both. Okay. Um, so for example, let's just take like they are four, six. So six, 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 six. Like I have for each and every element, there are like 2 raised to power what? Sorry, two choices. Either it goes to the left and right. So ultimately, I have 16 possible distributions, 16 different combinations of distributing this. Out of which, if I take like 4C2 and give it to the first person, like then it becomes an issue, right? So 4C2 is like 4 into 3 by 2, that means 6. So 6, uh, 6, right? So out of 16, only 6 have issues and rest should be fine. Let's just verify. So for example, for 16, it will like uh, nothing to the left, or first one to the left, or the second one, or just one element to the left. I have four possible ways. That's okay. I have one possible way to doing this. For two, I expect it should be 6 cases. All of these should have an issue. So what I'm saying, like, uh, give exactly this many sixes to the left person. For giving three elements over here, exactly have four ways to do this, and then one. For four, there is exactly one way to do this. So yeah, this is like the simple combinatrix, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that means if max element is modulo 2, so in fact, let's just do this. If max element modulo 2 equal to 0, then it would be possible to distribute uh, max count in such a way that the left person gets max count by 2, right person gets max count by 2, and we have to avoid that. So that's as simple as this, as this. Like there's nothing but 2 raised to power n. That's it. Now for this, what I want to end up doing is 2 raised to power n minus uh, max count C2, which is, wait, max count C, max count by 2. Sorry. Yeah. So number of ways to take exactly half elements out of this, which is max count C, max count by 2. I have to subtract this. So let's just calculate this separately. Let's keep this as it is. So right now answer is equal to this. Now I simply need to subtract this, which will be, so NCR, uh, if R is less than N, is N factorial divided by N minus R factorial divided by R factorial. This can be calculated as like R minus 1 up till N, sorry, R plus 1. Just a sum of all these, multiplication of all these. That's right, right. Divide by R factorial, obviously. N factorial divided by N minus R factorial, R factorial. So for int I equal to 1, I is less than equal to R, I plus plus, R is max count by 2. In fact, let me just calculate the fast inverse and all. I believe I have some templates for this as well. Let's avoid rewriting all this. Math dot. I will add link outs to these templates, maybe in the description itself. So this should be good enough. Mm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So n, value of n is what, like 10 raised to power, it is up till just 10 raised to power 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will just call the sub setup factorials for 10 raised to power 5, let us say. Set of factorials 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say maybe just 3 for boundary conditions and all. So this should be good enough. I have to add the multiply methods and all. So let me just copy paste these as well. Yep, I believe this should be good enough. So I have already done the setup. So let me just have the combinatrix. I will subtract it. Uh, So answer is equal to subtract answer with combinatrix of max comma max by 2, and we are done. Let's try again, like just running the program. Yeah. So it seems like this is like 128 now. We got, so if you look closely in this is like 2 raised to power 7, which is 128. Let me just add one more and see what the answer is. So if I add one more, the answer is like 128. Reason being, for this, it's like distributing this is like again 2 raised to power 4, which is 16, multiply by, for distributing these four sixes. I have just 16 minus 6, which is like 10. I have 10 methods, so this should be 160 now. Okay, seems like an issue. Let's see. Oh, I need to make it at 8 as well. Yeah, so it multiplied by 10, but now this like 25 multiplied by 10. Let me just, what if I do this? 2 raised to power is 256. Okay. Okay, this is subtracting just 6. Oh, I do not really need to subtract it. This is like 2 raised to power 4. Okay, I think I'm overcomplicating it. Let me just use these methods directly. So this is, returns a raised to power b, right? So with for this answer is equal to power mod 2 comma n. This should be fine. But if max count is actually like max count modulo 2 equal to 0, then what I do need to return is uh, answer divide equal to this, the number of ways to distribute max count, which is answer is equal to divide whatever current answer is, and power mode to number of ways to distribute this, all the elements, and then I will multiply answer with uh, let's say this is int temp equal to this. I will first divide it by with this, and then I will do a subtract temp minus combinatrix of this. This makes sense. So basically what I'm doing is like this answer is 2 raised to power n, but if max count modulo 2 is equal to 0, then answer is this divided by 2 raised to power max count. So just to find 2 raised to power n minus max count, that means number of ways to distribute the remaining parts, and then I simply multiply it with uh, total number of ways to to distribute the maximum value, minus number of ways in which I distribute it such a way that like half goes to one person. So which is like C of this max count comma max count by 2. So this is what I'm trying to print over here. Let's try running this. So it becomes 160, 16 into 10. Yeah, makes sense. Let's try submitting. Submit. Okay. Yeah, easy. So I believe I should have maybe tested a few more. It's just that I thought Like I tried to be in a hurry and that's why I got a wrong answer. But yeah, this works out. So let me just like quickly iterate over what these methods actually do. So these are like nothing but a fast exponential. It returns a raised to the power of p b modulo p. There's a condition that b and p should be co-prime. If p is 10 to the 9 plus 7, that works out. Multiplicative inverse. So idea is like in the modular arithmetic, if you want to divide, let's say n divide by numerator, you have to in fact multiply it with multiplicative inverse of this. So these are just like common maths functionalities for modular arithmetic. So these are like kind of handy. Just maybe it will be a good idea to have your own custom library for this. I will add links in the description for these. Uh, for setup factorials and all, like these are two separate things apart from normal multiplier, division, addition, subtraction. Idea is that like if I already have factorial of I minus 1, I will simply multiply it by I and I will get a factorial of I. So this stores factorial of I value, and this is factorial inverse, kind of like what I'm trying to store is multiplicative inverse of factorial of I. Now for combinatrix, B's. So this is like combinatrix, like number of ways to find B items out of A. So that's like A factorial divided by A minus B factorial into B factorial. So I just multiplied it, and sorry, this is division already. So I'm already like multiplying with this is kind of like dividing with factorial of A minus B. So I simply multiplied these two and then multiplied with this, and finally I'm getting a combinatrix. Yeah, that's it for this problem. Thank you.